There are places that don't look dangerous until years later, when you realize your life never moved. Most men don't fail because they were attacked. They fail because they stayed comfortable, the rooms you relax in, the people you laugh with, the conversations that feel harmless. Those are the traps. Power doesn't disappear overnight. It leaks out slowly through familiarity, comfort, and misplaced loyalty. Long before a man collapses, his ambition is put to sleep, and he never notices when it happens. There are 7 environments that quietly erase futures, not loudly, not violently, but efficiently. If you recognize yourself in even one of them, understand this: you are not resting. You are being processed. We start with the most seductive one of all. 1. The Sympathy Circle. This is the place where many men get stuck without realizing it. It looks safe, it feels comforting, but it slowly destroys ambition. This is the place where men confuse emotional relief with real progress. It can be a group chat where everyone complains about work. It can be a table where friends sit and talk about how unfair life is. It can be a bar where the same problems are discussed every week with no solutions. Nothing changes there. Only the words do. You walk in feeling heavy, frustrated, tired. You talk about your problems. You explain how hard things are. You let it all out. And afterward, you feel lighter. That feeling is not healing. It is not growth. It is sedation. It is the emotional version of a painkiller. It removes the feeling, not the problem. Every time you complain without a plan, your brain learns something dangerous. It learns that talking is enough. It learns that being heard is the same as moving forward. Slowly, you stop searching for solutions. You start searching for sympathy. The people listening to you are not enemies, but they are not helping you either. They listen, they nod. They say things like, "Yeah, man, life is tough. I feel you. It's hard out there." These words feel supportive, but they don't push you anywhere. They don't challenge you. They don't demand better from you. They don't ask what you're going to do next. That sentence, "Yeah, it's tough," does not free you. It quietly locks you in place. In the sympathy circle, everyone agrees that life is unfair, and because everyone agrees, no one changes. Shared misery creates comfort, but it kills momentum, because deep down, if you were to escape, if you were to succeed, if you were to actually rise, your success would become a mirror, and that mirror would reflect their own inaction. So without meaning to, they prefer you stay stuck with them. This is why ambition feels uncomfortable in this circle. Talking about goals feels awkward. Silence feels safer than discipline. Growth feels like betrayal. When you stop complaining and start working, people notice, and not everyone likes it. You may think vulnerability is strength here. You are told that opening up is healthy, that sharing everything makes you human, but there is a truth no one tells you. When you constantly expose your fears, doubts, and weaknesses, you are giving away a map of where you can be broken. Nothing sharp is created in warmth. Steel is forged under pressure. A man who stays comfortable in pity will never become dangerous, and the man who is not dangerous will never be free. The sympathy circle feels like home, but it is a slow trap. You don't need more people who understand your pain. You need fewer words and stronger actions. Because the longer you stay where everyone feels sorry for you, the harder it becomes to become someone worth respecting. And once ambition dies there, it rarely comes back. TW table of borrowed status. At some point, you leave the herd. You stop sitting with people who complain all day. You want more, but instead of freedom, you walk into a quieter cage. You get invited into a room that feels above your level. The chairs are expensive, the food is better, the names in the room carry weight, everyone is polite, everyone smiles. And for the first time, you feel chosen. You think this is progress, but stop and look closely. You are not making decisions. You are not taking risks. You are not controlling outcomes. You are just there. You are decoration. This is the table where being present feels like being powerful, where access is confused with achievement. You think sitting close to influence means you have influence. It doesn't. The people at this table don't need your ideas. They don't need your strength. They don't need your courage. What they need is your admiration. They like having you there because you listen, because you laugh, because you look impressed. Your presence confirms their status. You make them feel important. Your role is simple. Agree, smile, be grateful to be included. You are not a player in the game. You are proof that the game works for them. This place is dangerous because it slowly kills hunger. You stop pushing yourself as hard. You stop staying late. You stop taking risks. Why? Because you already feel like you've arrived. Validation replaces ambition. Comfort replaces discipline. You dress like them. You talk like them. You try to think like them. But your bank account hasn't changed. Your influence hasn't grown. Your control over your own life hasn't improved. You look closer to power, but you are no stronger than before. And when something serious happens, when real money is on the line, when real decisions must be made, when direction and control are discussed, you are no longer in the room. You are not asked. You are not consulted. You are not trusted, because you were never meant to be. You were allowed near the table, not into the circle. This is the illusion of borrowed status. It feels expensive. It feels important, but it costs you everything. You trade hunger for comfort. You trade growth for approval. You trade your edge for access. Being close to power is not the same as having power. Watching the game is not the same as owning the field. Borrowed respect is the most expensive illusion a man can accept, because it gives him nothing, while slowly convincing him that he already has enough, and that lie keeps him exactly where he is. The small pund king. This is the most flattering prison a man can enter, and because it feels good, most never leave. In this place, you stand out. You are the smartest one in the room, the most driven, the most successful, compared to everyone else around you. People look up to you. They ask for your advice. They praise your achievements. They repeat your words as if they are truth. You feel respected. You feel important, and it feels earned. But there is a hidden danger here. Nothing is sharpening you anymore. You are no longer under pressure. No one challenges your ideas. No one questions your decisions. No one threatens your position. You are comfortable. You have become impressive to people who don't matter. In this environment, your ego is constantly fed. You are told how far you've come, how smart you are, how successful you are, but no one pushes you further. Applause replaces resistance. Praise replaces challenge. And this is where ambition quietly rots. Growth requires friction. It requires being uncomfortable. It requires being surrounded by people who expose your weaknesses. But in this small pond, you dominate easily. And because dominance is easy, you stop improving. You stop studying as hard. You stop questioning yourself. You stop preparing for stronger competition. Why would you? You're already winning here, but easy dominance creates fragile men. A man who never struggles loses his edge. A blade that never cuts becomes dull. You begin to believe your own reputation. You start thinking you've reached the top, but the truth is harsh. Being the best in a weak group is not success. It is camouflage for stagnation. You are not climbing a mountain. You are standing on a small hill, surrounded by people who never tried to climb at all. While you enjoy being admired, real competitors are training in silence. Real predators are sharpening their skills against stronger enemies. And one day, if you leave this small pond and step into a larger ocean, you will feel it immediately. Your confidence will be tested. Your skills will feel outdated. Your strength will feel insufficient. Not because you were never capable, but because you stayed comfortable for too long. This place is dangerous because it convinces you that you've already arrived. It rewards you for staying exactly where you are. The praise feels like proof of success, but it is only proof that you stopped moving. True growth demands humility. It demands being the weakest person in the room. It demands choosing challenge over applause. If everyone around you is impressed by you, You are in the wrong place. The small pond king is admired, but never feared, respected locally, but irrelevant globally. And the longer you stay at the top of a weak hierarchy, the harder it becomes to admit that you should have left long ago. Because stepping down feels like failure, but in reality it is the only way forward. In Cost Grave. This place does not praise you, it does not admire you, it slowly drains the life out of you. It slowly drains the life out of you. At first, it doesn't feel dangerous, it feels familiar. It is the relationship that should have ended years ago, the partnership that stopped working but never officially died, the job, business, or friendship you protect only because of how much time and effort you already gave it. Nothing is growing here, but you keep feeding it. You tell yourself you are being loyal, that you are strong for not giving up, that real men don't walk away, but the truth is harder to face. This isn't loyalty, it is fear. Fear that leaving means admitting you were wrong. Fear that the years you spent were wasted. Fear of standing alone with nothing familiar left to hold on to. So you stay, and you bleed slowly. Every day, this place takes a little more of your energy, a little more of your focus, a little more of your belief in yourself. The time you already invested is gone. It has no power over the future. It cannot be recovered. But most men let the past control their next move. They keep pouring effort into something dead, hoping it will suddenly come back to life. This environment keeps you reactive. You are always fixing problems, always explaining yourself, always managing emotions. You are busy, but you are not building anything new. You cannot move forward while dragging a corpse behind you, no matter how much you once loved it, no matter how much you once believed in it. Staying does not make you strong. It makes you tired. Power requires clarity. It requires the ability to cut losses without emotion. Walking away is not weakness, it is precision. It is the ability to say, this no longer serves the future I am building. When you stay in a sunken cost grave, you are not honoring your past, you are sacrificing your future. And the longer you stay, the more painful it becomes to leave. Because every extra year increases the lie that leaving means failure. But the real failure is letting a dead chapter decide how your story ends. You don't need more patience here. You need distance. The moment you stop feeding what is dead, your energy begins to return. Only then can you build something that actually lives. The stage of false power. This is the place where life becomes a performance. Everything you do is about how it looks, not how it works. You dress for approval. You spend money to feel respected. You borrow to maintain an image. From the outside, you look successful. People think you are doing well. They admire your lifestyle. But inside, you feel hunted. You are always worried, always calculating, always afraid of being exposed. One missed payment, one slow month, one unexpected expense, and the entire image starts to crack. This place forces you into constant defense mode. You are not building a future, you are protecting a lie. You can't take real risks because you are already overextended. You can't be honest about your situation because honesty would destroy the image. You can't slow down or rest because the performance must continue. Every decision becomes about survival, not growth. You are trapped maintaining a version of success you haven't earned yet. The pressure never leaves. You are surrounded by people, but you feel alone. You laugh in public and worry in private. This environment teaches you a dangerous lesson, that looking powerful is more important than being powerful. So you keep upgrading things that don't matter. A better car, better clothes, more expensive habits. But your savings don't grow, your leverage doesn't increase, your freedom shrinks. Real power does not come from what you show. It comes from what you control. Real leverage comes from reserves, not receipts. From savings, not spending. From freedom, not optics. A man with money in the bank and time under his control is stronger than a man living in luxury on borrowed time. In the stage of false power, your status depends on consumption. You must keep spending to stay relevant, and the moment you stop, you disappear. The respect you receive is shallow. It is tied to what you wear, drive, and display, not to who you are or what you've built. This makes you fragile. Any small setback feels like a disaster. Any mistake feels like the end. You become desperate to maintain appearances, and desperation always leads to bad decisions. Anyone can look powerful while selling their future. Anyone can pretend for a few years. But very few men have the discipline to look invisible while they are building something real. They are quiet. They spend less than they earn. They move without attention. They don't chase applause. They chase control. Because when real power arrives, it doesn't need to announce itself, and the man who escapes this stage trades fake admiration for real freedom. That trade is worth everything. SIX, the neutral zone. This is the place where many men slowly disappear without making noise. No fights, no enemies, no drama, just silence. You don't take sides, you choose your words carefully. You avoid conflict whenever possible. You tell yourself you are being mature. You think you are being calm, reasonable, and wise. But there is a truth you must face. This is not maturity. It is avoidance. In the neutral zone, no one really trusts you, not because you are a bad person, but because no one knows where you stand. People cannot rely on someone whose position changes with the room. They cannot depend on someone who avoids pressure. When conflict appears, you stay quiet. When decisions are needed, you delay. When values are tested, you soften your stance. You think this keeps you safe. It doesn't. Neutrality in conflict earns zero loyalty. Both sides watch you. Both sides notice your silence. And both sides remember it. To one side, you look weak. To the other, you look unreliable. Neither side sees you as an ally. You become useful only as a buffer, a messenger, a temporary tool. And when the situation is over, you are forgotten. This is why neutrality is dangerous. You are not seen as strategic. You are seen as unanchored. A man without a clear position has no weight in any room. Respect requires edges. It requires clear beliefs. It requires lines that do not move under pressure. People respect those who stand for something, even when they disagree with them. But no one respects someone who stands for nothing. In the neutral zone, you spend your energy trying not to offend anyone. You dilute your words. You hide your real thoughts. Over time, this becomes a habit. You stop saying what you believe. You stop defending what matters to you. You stop trusting your own judgment. And slowly, you disappear from serious conversations. You are not invited into real decision-making rooms. You are not considered for leadership. You are not chosen when loyalty matters, because no one knows what you would do when the pressure becomes real. If people cannot predict your stance under stress, they will never rely on you. They might like you. They might describe you as nice or easy to work with, but they will not follow you, and they will not protect you. This place feels safe because nothing is demanded of you, but that is exactly why it is deadly. A man who never takes a stand never earns enemies, but he also never earns allies. And without allies, you have no power. To leave the neutral zone, you must accept risk. You must be willing to be misunderstood. You must be willing to lose approval. Standing for something will cost you comfort. It will create friction. It will make some people uncomfortable, but it will also give you weight. Clarity attracts respect. Conviction creates trust. When people know where you stand, they know how to work with you. They know what to expect, and that makes you valuable. The neutral zone is quiet. It feels peaceful, but peace without direction is just another form of disappearance. If you want to matter, you must choose a side, not for conflict, but for integrity. Because in the long run, silence under pressure speaks louder than words. 7. The ghost circle. This is the final trap. And it is the hardest one to escape because it knows your past. This circle is made of people who knew you before. Discipline, before standards, before direction. They remember you when you were easy to understand, easy to predict, easy to control. They knew you when you were smaller. These people don't attack you directly. They don't try to stop you openly. They joke. They remind you of old stories. They bring up your past mistakes. They use old names and old versions of you. They say it's all love. They say they're just keeping you grounded. But what they are really doing is reducing you. They pull you back to a version of yourself that no longer exists, a version that no longer fits the life you are trying to build. They anchor you to who you used to be, and that anchor is heavy. Every time you return to this circle, you feel it, you speak differently, you think smaller, you hesitate. Your confidence fades slightly, your authority weakens, not because you changed for the worse, but because you are standing in a room that only respects the old version of you. Growth threatens these people, not because you think you're better than them, but because you left. Your discipline reminds them of what they avoided. Your standards highlight what they accepted. Your direction exposes their comfort. So they pull. They don't want you to fail. But they don't want you to fully become who you are meant to be either. Because if you rise too far, they can no longer reach you. You cannot become sovereign in the same place where you were once manageable. Authority cannot survive where familiarity dominates. When people remember you as weak, they will always speak to you from that memory. Familiarity erodes authority, and nostalgia is a leash disguised as love. This is why so many men feel stuck when they stay too close to their past. They are constantly reminded of who they were, not supported in becoming who they are. This does not mean hatred is required. It does not mean anger is necessary. It does not mean revenge or confrontation. Sometimes evolution requires distance, quiet distance, firm distance, firm distance. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You only need space. Space to think clearly. Space to act without being reduced. Space to grow without being pulled backward. Separation is not betrayal. It is alignment. The ghost circle will always try to remind you of your past, but your future does not live there. And the man you are becoming cannot be fully seen by people who only recognize the boy you once were. Let them remember you how they want. Your responsibility is not to stay familiar. Your responsibility is to become capable. Sometimes the final step forward is stepping away from the place that taught you how to survive, but cannot teach you how to rule. And once you accept that, the past loosens its grip, the ghost fades, and you finally move without being pulled back. Every environment is either sharpening you or softening you. There is no neutral room. If a place doesn't demand growth, it demands decay. If a circle doesn't raise your standards, it lowers them. You don't need more motivation. You need cleaner exits. Leave the rooms that numb you. Cut the ties that stall you. Choose discomfort with direction over comfort without movement. Because the most dangerous thing a man can do is confuse safety with survival. Stay alert, stay disciplined, and never mistake warmth for progress. The traps are everywhere. Now you can see them. Stay cold.